showers.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
More of on WCBM.com.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all, because the bottom line is this. Donald Trump is the general of the Republican Party, and the Republican primary voters are his soldiers. And if you look at Thomas Massie, you can see it very clearly. You look in 2020, 2022, 2024, he was getting 75%, upwards of 81% of the primary vote in 2020. And today, he gets less than 50% of the vote. That's the story.
That is incredible, because you look at it so consistent time after time after time.
Yeah, here's a little lesson. Here's a little lesson. If 95% of Republican voters are in favor of Donald Trump and his agenda, if you want to keep your ass in office, you might want to not vote against it. There you go. How about that? How about that? Did we learn a lesson last night? Oh, my Lord. It's so glorious. Hello. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. 37 wins, 0 losses is what happened last night. Donald Trump, 10-0 in Pennsylvania, 6-0 in Alabama, 6-0 in Kentucky, 9-0 in Georgia, 5-0 in Idaho, 1-0 in Oregon. It was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. You know why? Because the American people, the Republican Party, and now a lot of Democrats moving over too, are sick and tired of the nonsense in Washington, D.C. And Thomas Massie just got his rear end booted the hell out. You know why it's a good idea? Know it's a good idea? Because Andy Beshear, the awful governor of Kentucky, said it was a sad day that Thomas Massie got voted out. And then MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's disappearing into irrelevance. I'd look for an OnlyFans page soon. She says that the GOP's future is destroyed. Okay, let me see. Who's working now? Marjorie Taylor Greene, who nobody's listening to anymore, declared that the future of the GOP has been destroyed. I am proud and thankful to have served in the House of Representatives with my friend Thomas Massie, a giant among weak, pathetic men. Oh, my God, it's been releasing the Epstein files was our demise. No, it wasn't, but it was worth every single bit, because now everyone knows the truth. Yeah, it was a whole lot of Democrats, and it had nothing to do with Donald Trump. You are ruled by the Epstein class that cares nothing about you, and your elected leaders are bought and controlled by a foreign lobby. Tonight, the future of the Republican Party is destroyed. The real America First movement will rise by younger generations who hate the old guard. We are the new guard, by the way, despite my age. This is the future of the Republican Party. This is the Republican Party. And if you decide you want to be an old school Republican, a blue blood country club elite, you're going to get your rear end handed to you. That's it. And I would expect John Cornyn is going to be next, by the way. John Cornyn is going to be next. Here is Scott Jennings last night with a perfect analogy.
What's the old song? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Trump in a Republican primary. And that's what Thomas Massie...
You think about all of the people in Congress, including Thomas Massie, who have been in charge for a very long time, and all of the crap that they have presided over without fixing a damned thing. They have some culpability into the descent of America into the pits of hell. They do. Donald Trump had 4 years off thanks to a rigged election, and he's back in the 250th year of our birth for a reason. For a reason. And this should send a very powerful message to rhinos in the Senate, particularly. You better get on board. You better get on this Save America Act. You better get on into this filibuster. Whatever it is, you better get on it, because you are marked. You are marked. You will be removed. Goodbye. That's it. Scott Jennings.
He has done by becoming his chief antagonist in the U.S. House, and this became...
Yeah, brilliant idea there. Brilliant idea.
Really a referendum on, is Thomas Massie on the team or not? And Trump said he wasn't, and the voters followed. The key vote that House leadership turned on him over was the big, beautiful bill. I mean, the working
House
families
leadership, but
tax
the president.
Credit. Well, but that's the president's domestic policy agenda.
Yeah,
and you cannot become an apostate on two issues in a Republican primary,
No.
taxes and immigration.
Yep.
Massie voted against Trump's immigration security. He voted against Trump's tax cuts. So
really, really stupid. I mean, if that's your principle and it's an unprincipled principle, then you better expect you're going to lose your job, and you did.
when you become a chief antagonist, when you're voting with the squad against Donald Trump's domestic policy agenda,
Yeah.
it's not Epstein.
But that's
it's
because
a
he
problem.
was
When you're voting with the Democrats that often, look, politics is a team sport. He's just not been on the president's team.
How much
That's
of a
problem.
chilling gift for the party?
Voters have some agency here, okay?
Okay.
These people who live in Kentucky's 4th Congressional District
I used to live there, by the way.
strongly support Donald Trump. It's one of the most conservative districts in the
won
country.
by
They
35%,
overwhelmingly
yeah.
vote for him. And if they perceive that their Republican congressman, who they also voted for, is voting with the Democrats against the agenda of the president that they overwhelmingly supported, they take notice of it.
There you
That's
go.
what
You
it's
know,
like.
and the same damn thing happened when Barack Obama was the president to Democrats who wouldn't play along with him. But I'm going to tell you right now, the old Republican Party is over. It's gone. Cornyn, you're a dead man walking politically if you don't get on board and get some stuff done, because the American people want stuff done. 90+% of us Republicans want voter ID. They want the Save America Act. You better get on, and this goes for Democrats too. 76% of Democrats want voter ID as well. You'd better start listening to the American people. The Democrat Party, their only response is, we're going to pack the Supreme Court. We're going to make Puerto Rico and D.C. states, and we're going to do whatever we can to cheat, to rule us. But we don't want to be ruled anymore. This isn't necessarily just about Trump supporters. This isn't just about MAGA. This is about the American people finally being heard in Washington, D.C. I had to laugh this morning. This is Jack Posobiec. He's got a podcast, and he's talking to a pollster this morning, and apparently they are crestfallen. The rhinos, the remaining rhinos who haven't been hunted in the Senate are just crestfallen over last night.
I got to read this to you. Andrew Desirio, he's got this tweet up. Senate Republicans are livid with Trump. Just now, Senator Rick Wicker remained stone-faced for about 20 seconds as he walked into lunch.
Yeah, you can do that about 20 seconds, then you better get on board.
So we asked him for his reaction. Senator Murkowski is crying. She's melting down.
Somebody must have thrown some water on her.
She's melting down up there in the Senate lunch right now.
Listen. You know what? It was to be expected. This is not a surprise. But you know, the really cool thing is MAGA is stronger than it's ever been. When it came back. And we had the primaries, and Donald Trump won 99 counties out of Iowa. And it was a juggernaut across America. They don't realize what the past 10 years has done to crystallize us as warriors for the founding, as warriors for this president. They don't realize we are now battle-hardened veterans in this, and we are not going anywhere. This morning on Twitter, it was trending. It was MAGA is over or something like that. The exact opposite is true. The exact opposite is true. MAGA is here to stay. MAGA is going to eliminate the rest of these rhino hangers-on who think that they're somehow going to bring back the ghost of Dick Cheney to rule the party. It's not going to happen.
Oh, it's perfect. The rhino tears. People talk about the liberal tears. No, I want to drink a nice glass of rhino tears.
Amen.
They're the real enemy. They have always been the real enemy. Liberals, you know what they are. You know what they're capable of. You know what to expect from them.
This is Rich Barris of Big Data Poll. And by the way, the Democrat Party is dying like movie vampires. I told you this. So are these rhinos. They're the same. They're in the same ilk. They are the same people. They're on the same team, and they're both descending into hell.
That is, it's the face of it, but the real enemy that opposes Donald Trump, that opposes America First, that opposes MAGA
that has presided over the descent of America They have, as well as the Democrats.
Always been in the United States.
They brought on the $40 trillion deficit. They did nothing the last 20 years to curb spending, etc.
Senate has always been in leadership in the United States Senate. They are always the one who sticks the knife in your back. Who did it with repeal and replace? Who killed a 7-year campaign promise that cost us the House of Representatives? It was John McCain, his friend. Listen, nobody, it was why I'm so happy. In 2002, this man was elected, Jack. He was in part of the first rhino wave in the post 9/11 era, when Republicans did
about John Cornyn.
incredibly well in the midterms after 9/11, before the war got unpopular. He's the embodiment of a rhino, never-ending war, amnesty neocon, and Ken Paxton is everything that MAGA is.
Now, they've already spent $150 million trying to defeat Paxton. What should that be telling you about the people at the head of the RNC? What should it be telling you? You better start listening. Do you hear the people sing? Do you hear the people shout? I'm hearing it all. This should not have been a big surprise. I want you to listen. This is Harry Hinton. Just a couple weeks ago, you should have known that doing this, voting against Donald Trump's agenda, was going to cost you your job.
That the president still has juice, still has a lot of influence, at least in Indiana.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Indiana.
As Indiana goes, so goes the nation when it comes to Republican voters and Donald John Trump. He absolutely still has the juice. And when you're a Republican and you go against Trump, you get voted off the island. I always love
100%. And look what happened. This is now, 3 weeks later. Should have been obvious to everyone involved. You got to listen to the American people. We are battle-hardened warriors. We've seen it all. You censored us. You shut us down. You went after our president. You created Russia collusion, which was built on nothing. We knew it was built on nothing. You went after the January 6ers. You threw them in jail for 4 years without a trial. We moved on to where Donald Trump was persecuted. He was impeached in office the first term. Then he was impeached a second time after leaving office. Never been done before. It was very obvious to all of us that you looked at him as a threat to the deep state in Washington, D.C., enriching members of both parties while we suffered. Then they moved on. They raided Mar-a-Lago for the very first time. They weaponized the DOJ against Trump and his supporters. Then they tried to kill him twice, and then they tried to kill him again once he was in office. You don't understand who you're messing with. If you don't get it, you don't get it. And you're going to go into the dustbin of history with the Democrat Party. There you go. There you go. We got a lot of good news happening on the show. More results from last night. Special guest on the show, Emily Sturge, is going to be joining us on the show, among others. The number is 800-922-6680. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex, with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
TDS, James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure, I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS, is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. He causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to Newsmax.com/listen for details.
Which is why we're the number 10 political commentary podcast in America. I know it kind of is a surprise to me as well. It was pretty cool. And then, of course, number 42 for news and overall podcasts of the hundreds of thousands of podcasts are out there. Number 250 is what we were at and hopefully climbing. No, I'll just say we are climbing. We're climbing, and we're going to keep climbing. And we are now headquartered in Washington, D.C. There's a reason for it. You and I are battle-hardened veterans of the anti-Trump movement, of the pro-establishment, pro-deep state, pro-swamp. They've been trying to take us out, and we are taking America back. That's it. That's all. And if you don't get it, then you don't get it. If you don't understand what this movement is, I would encourage you. It's going to be hard for you to understand if you don't get it yet. But we know why we are here. We know we are here to save the country. Is it about a man? Yes, but it's more so about a movement. The first man that we have been able to vote for who went to Washington, D.C., who was doing things that are so profoundly powerful and effective that he is driving the forces of darkness out of this city. And they are fighting, and they are caterwauling, and they're going crazy, and we are discovering all of the filth and graft and corruption, and it's worse than we could have ever imagined. And we have to continue to overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and faith, and of course, votes. Thomas Massie is done. He became monstrous the last couple of years. He completely changed as a human being. If you just looked at his face, everything about him became twisted and odd and out of bounds. He voted against Trump's border bill. He voted against the big, beautiful bill, which, of course, has been absolutely wonderful. People testify on Capitol Hill about no tax on tips, how much money it means for them. People, on Social Security get money back. The Trump RX is just gigantic. 600 drugs online that you can get at a fraction of the cost. Nobody's comment about it. We had become so fat, slovenly, and unhealthy. RFK Jr. comes in and shows just how poisonous our food has gotten. And I can go on and on and on. All the left has ever done is just screech and howl and scratch and claw and trying to drag us into hell with them. And we're not going. Again, if you don't get it, you don't get it. And I would suggest that if you don't, get the hell out of the way. Get out of the way because they're going to roll you over. That's it. That's it. There's a lot of things going on here. One of them happens to be serendipity, and it's happening now. It's happening in this year, the 250th anniversary of our birth. There is more than just politics involved here. There is a spiritual element of it. And if you look at the side against Donald Trump, by and large, their agenda is dark and evil and awful. That's it. That's it. You might want to get on the right side of history and the right side of God. I'm just telling you that right now. This is Thomas Massie last night, his concession speech, which, of course, was actually showed what a complete jerk he is.
Massie, 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 Massie,
All right. That's the last time he's going to hear a crowd like that yelling his name. They're saying he might run in 2028 for president. Get real.
Listen, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrine in Tel Aviv.
What is this? What is this anti-Semitic bull crap that people like this jackweed are espousing and Marjorie Taylor Greene is espousing? This shows that they're in league with the left. That's it. Here's more of this jackweed.
I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race.
It's big of you.
We've been honorable the whole time.
No, you haven't. You just showed how dishonorable you are.
Stay that way.
You never were.
You know, welcome to the most expensive congressional primary ever in the 250-year history.
I don't think it's more expensive than the one going on in Texas.
Of this country.
Yeah.
It's not just the most expensive. This thing went on longer than Vietnam. It started 9 months ago, and they didn't even have a candidate, and they decided they want to take me out.
Yeah, look how it happened. Look what we did. Bye-bye. Go back to whatever you were doing before Congress.
Kentucky kicked Tom Massie out last night.
Should have seen it, guys.
Ed Galrine beat him. It was quite a sight.
37-0
Tom's
yesterday.
been defeated. He's been unseated.
Jim Gossett, by the way.
Kentucky Massie, always attacking. Got us, you're lacking. Kentucky Massie. Tom Massie didn't like the border wall. My tax cut, he tried to stall.
He did.
He wasn't trusted.
No.
Now he's been busted.
Bye-bye.
Kentucky Massie, career was ended. Was it extended? Kentucky Massie.
Yep. And if I were a
Kentucky Massie.
Thank you, Jim Gossett. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. It should be a signal to John Thune to get it going. He was talking this morning about passing the Secure Act America, about ICE and Border Patrol.
The former vice president said here recently that this is a moment when there are no bad ideas. With all due respect to the former vice president, it seems to me, at least the Democrats, there's no shortage of bad ideas. And chief among those is this idea that they're going to defund the police. That is the mantra of the Democrat Party. It's the position of the Democrats here in Washington, in the House and the Senate. And as a consequence of that, Republicans are going to be forced to take care of the American people. Because I think the question that most Americans, the question that's before us, is do we want to live in safety and security? And
I think we're going to see an attitude adjustment from some people on Capitol Hill. I think John Thune is going to be one of those people. I think he's going to be one of those people. And nothing we can do about Murkowski, or Susan Collins. But there's going to be a little attitude adjustment. The wind is at our backs. Thank you very much. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
So many people living with everyday pain think they're just stuck with it, and it is what it is. But it doesn't have to be. Let me tell you about George from Oregon and his Relief Factor story. George is a hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in his garbage truck. It's a tough job, made even harder because he was dealing with sore right knee that he couldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. He said, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, could help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, only $19.95 in a few weeks or even days. Feel the difference Relief Factor can make. You don't have to be stuck living with pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
I always accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between. State of the Union scored, approval rate, how it has soared. Democrats cannot afford to take me for granted anymore. Inflation's low, employment's high. The Dow Jones, it is headed for the sky. Borders secure, illegals aren't jetting in. That's why I accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between.
No tax on tips.
Whoops. Wrong clip. I didn't want to play that clip. I have another clip I want to play. Here's the clip I want to play.
We have up on the board for you the candidates that he has backed and those that have won. And it looks, to be like he is running the tables on this one. How do you score things for him and then overall for the midterms?
Kevin McCarthy.
Well, the one thing I see is that he's the strongest president in a political party that I've seen in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
It's unheard of that you have a president even stronger than Ronald Reagan was. You look at his ability. He endorses people and they win. He has defeated people even by just not endorsing them. You haven't seen this ability before. And just if you take the Republican Party in the last month, the number of victories that he had, you could take all those people that he endorsed. But also when you look at the Virginia Supreme Court, pulling back from where the Democrats want to do gerrymander, from the U.S. Supreme Court decision on minority-majority districts, the Republicans, to keep the House, are in a fundamentally different place than they were a month ago. A month ago, no one gave them an opportunity. Democrats would only have to win 3 seats. They now are going to have to win 10 seats. That is a gigantic shift in such a short amount of time.
I remember when I listened to Rush, you didn't ever want to blaspheme Ronald Reagan, and I wouldn't, by the way, and I wouldn't. And, to some degree, and I've hinted at this, at Donald Trump being an even greater president than Ronald Reagan, and I believe he is. I do, yeah. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There were different times, a different place, and the country had the country has been rotting, from the top down. Both parties getting filthy, rotten rich, completely whoring out the government, looting the treasury, every department of government completely rotten to the core. The DOJ, the FBI, other government institutions completely partisan toward the Democrat Party, willing to go after people, put them in jail for life or destroy their lives, etc. So these are different times, and it takes a different kind of warrior. And the thing about it is, we didn't just vote as warriors. We had to fight throughout all of this, because we've had the forces of evil against us silencing our speech on social media, in the mainstream media, and this has been a war against us. We had parents at school board meetings protesting CRT and DEI and transgender nonsense, and the weaponized FBI going after those individuals. We've got people in academia who are forcing nonsense to be taught in schools, textbooks being printed by radicals and being forced down our children's throats. It's a different country that was when Donald Trump was, when Ronald Reagan was in office, when you could actually maybe break bread or have drinks with the Democrat. And so that's why this makes it so much more powerful to some degree. John Solomon was talking about John Thune and these butthurt Republicans, and they're going to move after the War Powers Act to prevent Donald Trump from completing the task in Iran.
Right. There's a little bit of revenge serving going on. Yep, just a little while ago, John Thune upset with President's decision to pick the Texas Attorney General in the Texas U.S. Senate race. Paid him back tonight. They just held a vote in the Senate just a few moments ago, and the Senate advanced a resolution to rein in the president's power to conduct war in Iran.
Start dropping the bombs right now, then. There you go. I mean, does he really want to do this? Do you, Senator Thune, do you really want to F around and find out? Because you're going to F around and find out. You may think you're safe because you don't have a chance to be voted out right now. But you keep poking that pit bull. You are 95% of the American people, 95% of Republicans at least, are behind Donald Trump, the MAGA agenda. That's the way it is. You are on the wrong side of history. You are on the wrong side of issues, and you're picking a fight with some people you don't want to pick a fight with. And you want to keep doing this, you go right ahead. Here's Thune yesterday talking about, he's all butthurt because John Cornyn is a very, very good possibility, even after $150 million being spent to take down Ken Paxton. And it's amazing. I saw Cornyn sounding off on Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton has weathered everything, including a faux impeachment and all of this. And, but he's this and he's that. And this, he's this, that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. We voted for Donald Trump, even though he's 35 times a felon. We knew it was fake. We knew it was bullcrap. Here is John Thune after Donald Trump endorsed Ken Paxton in Texas.
How personally disappointed or frustrated are you with the president's decision to endorse Ken Paxton today?
Well, I think you all know my position on this issue. I've made it very clear for months now. And Senator Cornyn is a principled conservative. He is a very effective senator.
No, he's not.
For the state of Texas.
No, he hasn't been.
And but none of us control what the president does. He made his decision about that. That doesn't change the way I feel.
Great.
I am certainly supportive of, will continue to be supportive of Senator Cornyn and his reelection.
I'm going to tell you, the American people, and particularly MAGA voters, are very, very frustrated with you, Senator Thune. And look what we had done the last 3 weeks. Look what we have done. You ain't seen nothing yet. We waited for 4 years as the left went after Donald Trump, as they politically persecuted him, as after they went after us. We fought, we clawed, we scratched, we overwhelmingly won. We took the popular vote, the electoral college, the battleground states, and we are just beginning. This is the beginning of the retribution the deep state and the left were afraid of. We are in the infancy of the retribution that is coming, the payback that is coming for what has been done. I told you what we had to do to survive another 250 years is a baptism by fire in Washington, D.C. Not literal, of course, but a baptism by fire, burning out all of this rot, corruption, filth, this D.C. insider nonsense that allows people to move to Washington, D.C. and spend their entire lives telling us how to live ours. Spending their entire lives telling us how to live ours while they live high on the hog and they get rich in the stock market and we suffer and we work 2 or 3 jobs and nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing ever gets fixed. The same things that were broken when Joe Biden ran for office originally are still broken. We were promised that health care was going to be fixed with Obamacare. It actually got much worse, but it got a lot of people much richer, and it wasn't us. The infrastructure is broken. The schools suck. The VA still sucks. It's getting better. And finally, we have a true instrument of change that we've waited our entire lives for in Donald Trump, and there's nothing you're going to do to stop us. You've tried to kill him 3 times. You tried to put him in jail. You went after us. But guess what? We're not giving up. We're only getting stronger. We're only getting stronger. I'm telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet. Here is Jeff Flake. Flake, what a perfect name. All upset about what happened last night.
Republicans are going to face real headwinds come November in the midterms. And
really, why is that? Because we're winning. We're winning. We had 37-0 last night. And gerrymandering, race gerrymandering is gone. We tossed the attempt to gerrymander Republican representation out of Virginia. How are we facing headwinds, Mr. Flake?
They may still win Texas, although this puts it in jeopardy. Republicans all over Washington are really concerned today.
No, actually, Cornyn had as much chance as Paxton to beat this insane lefty in Texas.
But it's bad news for Republicans.
Is it? Do these people understand Texas and the enthusiasm behind a real Republican that actually produces results?
Yeah, that is Rob Schmidt talking about Jeff Flake, who again is another rhino Republican. It is rhino hunting season, and now we got 37 new trophies. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. $37 wins, 0 losses for MAGA candidates yesterday. Tom Massie is now a Rhino Trophy. So there you go. It was glorious. I think like 14 points. It was huge. Just got his rear end, his clock cleaned, as it were. Yeah. Dirty Brad Raffensperger loses GOP gubernatorial primary in Peachtree State shellacking, according to the Gateway Pundit. Brad Raffensperger, the corrupt Georgia State Secretary of State, came in a distant third in the Republican Party gubernatorial primary Tuesday night. Raffensperger will not make the runoff election. Raffensperger became a hero of the liberal media after he lied about the American people about the contents of a call he had with President Trump before the state certified the Georgia 2020 election. Of course, he never answered for the broken water main and the recount of the votes, and all of a sudden these ballots that came out from under a table and all of that. And then, of course, the same thing happened in the other battleground states. A 2024 report, the Federalist confirmed that Raffensperger's office most certainly committed a crime in January 2020 during a Secretary of State office phone call with President Trump on January 2nd, 2021. Jordan Fuchs, Georgia's Deputy Secretary of State, who was on the January 2021 call with Trump, taped the call from Florida without announcing it. You've got to notify an individual before you record them in Florida. Jordan Fuchs did not do that when she recorded President Trump speaking with Raffensperger's team. Her second illegal act was destroying the audio recording. It was later discovered in her computer's trash folder. There's plenty of evidence for a competent auditor or any man of integrity to know that the election was uncertifiable. Secretary of State Raffensperger's office secretly recorded the phone call with Trump, then lied about its contents later when they leaked it to the Washington Post. Bye. It's been a long time coming, but bye. Your career is over, Raffensperger. It's amazing that you're still in office there. Real quick, I want to play some Ken Paxton audio because he's been endorsed by Donald Trump in the Senate race in Texas, and there's a real good chance John Cornyn could get his clock cleaned, as it were. There are supply constraints that happen a lot of the times on commodities. You see it with gold in the Straits of Hormuz. You see it with a number of different things. If there's a drought, some grain prices will go up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Another limited commodity is gold, and gold, obviously, depending on the amount that's out there in the availability, is limited at times. People buy it up, they sell it, et cetera. Central banks are buying it up. Big companies are buying it up. Maybe if you've been thinking about it for years, but haven't moved some of your savings into physical gold, Birch Gold can help you, because until the 29th, it's already 20th, oh my God, 9 days, Birch Gold is giving first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000. So maybe this is the onus you need to finally partake. For details and free information without obligation on diversifying into gold, just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. I put my money with Birch Gold. I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to sit on it and let it ride, watch it grow. Might shrink a little bit, then might grow a little bit. I'm not going to go any further with that, but I'll just tell you that's the way it happens, and then someday I'm going to cash it in. Text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Again, Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. Ken Baxter was on with Rob Schmidt last night on Newsmax talking about the value of Donald Trump's endorsement over John Cornyn for Senate.
Look, it's a great day when the president endorses you. It's the gold standard for endorsements. It's the most amazing endorsement of my lifetime.
And it's more valuable by the minute.
And it always makes a difference because people have such tremendous respect, particularly in the Republican Party, for what he's accomplished as president and the kind of person he is. So his endorsement, there's nothing like it that I've ever seen in my lifetime. No other endorsement of any other politician seems to matter more than his.
And the reason why it's so valuable is because so many people, the media, late night, the left, Democrat Party, are so anti-Trump. So anti-Trump, they would want him in jail. They want to take him off the ballot. They wanted him dead. And all that has done is made us stronger. All that has done is made us battle-hardened MAGA veterans even stronger. And who would you rather do battle with? Somebody who's green, somebody who's no, like Jim Tallarico, or a battle-hardened conservative MAGA supporter? Yeah. You don't want to mess with us. Here is Ken Paxton talking about going against the Washington machine.
It's a huge moment. I mean, we're in the middle of a very contested race where the challenger has access to D.C. money and unlimited fundraising limits, and probably going to end up spending $150 million. So it does help when you're trying to go against the establishment, the Washington.
Why is he so valuable to the Washington establishment that they'd spend $150 million? Maybe because the gravy train's going off the tracks.
Machine, the Washington money. Yes. It really does help to have the president's endorsement when you're trying to get the truth out. And he's part of getting the truth out. He's a big part of getting the truth out, and people respect it. And I think it's going to make a huge difference in my race.
And what is the most important thing that you think we need to do here in D.C.?
Yeah, look, I don't blame him. I would, the Save America Act is more important than my race. It's the most important act that I've seen in decades, because if we can't protect our elections in democratic states because they have non-citizens voting, because their mail-in ballot fraud is massive, because they don't have photo ID, we're going to lose the country. And if we lose a few more states, we're never going to control this country with actual real elections. So I don't blame the president for using that as a piece to try to get the Save America Act passed. It is so important. It's more important than me. It's more important than even my race. It's the most important issue we have in America right now.
Yeah, and you know why I know we're on the right side of history with the SAVE Act? Because the more ugly the Democrats are getting day by day with the possibility of the SAVE Act passing. This is Chuck Schumer. He is a gargoyle with osteoporosis. I want you to listen to what he's saying, because yesterday we heard Hakeem Jeffries is going to crush our souls. He's going to crush our souls. Good luck with that. Our souls already belong to God and Jesus Christ. Okay, so good luck trying to crush our souls. How dare you say such a thing? But listen to Chuck Schumer.
In Congress, Trump's MAGA majorities keep pushing the SAVE Act, which we know would disenfranchise tens of millions
of illegal voters.
With the SAVE Act, Republicans would purge millions of American citizens,
illegals,
from the voter rolls,
illegals,
through a screening algorithm designed by none other than the trio, the evil.
Got to get rid of all the dead people on there and all the illegals.
Trio of Trump, Vote, and Musk.
Listen to what he called us here real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Other than the trio, the evil trio.
Evil trio.
Of Trump, Vote, and Musk.
Evil trio.
In their Doge squad. And as I've been saying for months, I started saying this months ago.
Doge was right.
It's Jim Crow 2.0.
Oh, see, he's just throwing stuff at the wall right now. None of it's sticking anymore. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. The evil trio. F you, you piece of crap. Honestly, how dare you? Hi, guys. How are you? Schumer is a piece of crap. Schumer is a foul, filthy, awful human being. Is there anything good about Chuck Schumer? Is there anything good, likable, or anything about Chuck Schumer other than he's just a D.C. swamp creature? There's nothing about him that says I am the man of the people. There's nothing. He is a pure, unadulterated swamp creature. That's it. That's it. Hello, Mickey Hastings. It's curtains for cornhole Cornyn. Cornholio. He's Cornholio. Oh, my God. Yeah, they don't even know who they're messing with at this point. They don't know who they're messing with, do they? Okay, who's watching them? Sport Tech, yeah. Schumer is a waste of O2, yeah. He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. I'm going over to Facebook here real quick. You guys looking forward to the weekend? I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm going to be spending it by myself, but I'm going to put a bunch of miles on the bike. I'm going to put a bunch of miles on the bike today. Or Saturday and Sunday. Maybe Monday. I'm really looking forward to it. Kids are coming to see me soon. Hello, Hard Intel. Where's America Marcy? I don't know. Hello. Dance F, hello. You're quoting the Bible. Okay, that's cool. That's all cool. Welcome. All right, I got to talk.
Got 2.5 minutes.
Dig it.
Forget your bike, Rod. You want a car like this.
Oh. This is not an EV. And it never will be. Here is J.D. Vance on the endorsement of Ken Paxton by President Trump over John Cornyn.
We think Ken Paxton is going to be a great senator for the people of Texas, but most importantly, a great United States senator who can work on solving the problems that all of us confront as a country together. When it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement. I think the message that people should take from this is fundamentally, you have got to serve the people who sent you. Yeah. And if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself out of step with voters or out of step with the President of the United States, and that's not a good place to be politically.
And you can also tell by the amount of vitriol they're throwing at Ken Paxton that they consider him a threat. He's an outsider. He's a MAGA Republican coming to the Senate, replacing a rhino Republican in John Cornyn. And there's no doubt about it. These hangers-on in the Senate are still there, embedded there from McCain's days, still on the same page as John McCain, still on the same page as Mitt Romney. You can also tell by the people who are angry about things like Thomas Massie getting defeated, like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky. Andy Beshear, the leftist governor of Kentucky, is mad that Thomas Massie is out. Now you know the right decision has been made, and you see the Republican establishment spending $150 million to fight Ken Paxton. It's not because they think Ken Paxton can't beat James Tallarico. It's because they don't want Ken Paxton replacing John Cornyn in the Senate. That's it. Their numbers are dwindling. Their influence is dwindling. The torches and the pitchforks are surrounding the castle. We're tired of you not getting anything done. We're tired of you getting into power and not doing what we ask you to do. We want the damned SAVE Act passed. Get on it. The American people are done with it. Get it done. Stop this genteel nonsense. We're tired of it. We have a fighter in the White House. Now we need a fighter in the Senate, and that's what they're afraid of. And that's what Ken Paxton is going to be. There you go. All right, hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. For some reason, Democrats want SEC school black athletes to boycott because of the SCOTUS decision on gerrymandering. It's so stupid, it's not even funny. I'll talk about it coming up. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. From Tennessee, Representative Andy Ogles will join us at the bottom of the hour. Next hour, Emily Sturge from Campus Reform will join us. So yeah, got a good show. We're not blowing off work this week like so many of you might be doing, thinking about maybe jetting today for the Memorial Weekend. Man, I tell you what, this weekend sneaked up on us, didn't it? I mean, it was like, I didn't even know yesterday that this weekend was Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, what? It is. And okay. Well, I had no plans. I I live by myself, whatever. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I was just kind of thinking about it this morning. Like, okay, well, what can I do this weekend? Don't really have a lot of friends here. I'll probably do some work around the studio. It's exciting. We have a pool at the apartment complex I live in, right? So, I don't know. I'm used to having neighbors, right? And when you live in an apartment complex, nobody's really your neighbor. They can live right across from you. They're their neighbor. You don't know them. It's just weird. So I'm like, hey, we can have a pool party. Everybody come down. And nobody's interested in that. Not like in the Villages. If I decided to retire in the Villages, I would have a naked pool party at midnight, and 1,000 people would show up. So I hear it gets a little crazy down there. I'm not ready to live that retirement lifestyle because I got a long way to retirement. But that said, I live in an apartment and it's kind of sad and pathetic. That said, let's talk about other things. Right now we got a few dynamics going. Massie got his rear end handed to him. Bill Cassidy got his rear end handed to him last Saturday. You've got Donald Trump endorsing John Cornyn, or I should say Ken Paxton over John Cornyn, and the rhinos in the Senate are now exposing themselves. I like to say the left exposes its flanks so you can kick their rear ends, right? Well, now we're seeing John Thune expose his rear end, and Trump's going to have to kick his ass because what they're doing now is they're going to try, and they passed a resolution so that Donald Trump has to get permission for Congress to continue the butt kicking in Iran. Now, this shows that there are some people in our Congress, including John Thune, including Bill Cassidy, who would rather throw away the gigantic and incredible, overwhelming effort of our military to end Iran, as we know it, 47 years of terror, to take what our military has done, and even in the midst of a ceasefire or in negotiations, throw it into the trash can and maybe leave the seeds of the Ayatollah to grow again. John Thune, shame on you. Bill Cassidy, shame on you. This is a betrayal. We saw Barack Obama wage a war for years. The same goes with Joe Biden. The same goes with George Bush. And we literally are under 60 days in Iran with 5 weeks of ceasefire. And they hate Donald Trump so much, and the possibility that two of their rhinos are going to be knocked out of the Senate, that they would destroy the progress we've made in Iran and allow the seeds of the Ayatollah to grow again. Shame on you. Man, you really exposed yourself, Thune. You really, really exposed yourself. Yesterday, CENTCOM was on Capitol Hill talking about the progress we've made. Oh, hold on. Let me play it. Here it is. Try it again.
Operation Epic Fury significantly degraded Iran's ballistic missiles and drones while destroying 90% of their defense industrial base, ensuring that Iran cannot reconstitute for years. And then finally, Iran spent decades and billions of dollars arming proxies. Today, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis are cut off from Iran's weapons supply and support.
And all we need to do is finish them off. And John Thune, because of a non-endorsement of John Cornyn, and because of Bill Cassidy getting his rear end handed to him, they're going to kill the progress we've made, the possibility of a real peace and lasting peace in Iran. It's not going to work. And I would recommend to the president, if you're going to start dropping bombs, you might want to do it pretty soon. This Seth Moulton asked this general from CENTCOM a completely inappropriate and ridiculous question. The Democrat Party has really sided with our enemies, particularly with this conflict, because they would rather have the Ayatollah stay. They would rather have the women of Iran in bondage. They would rather have terror around the world than Donald Trump get a victory. That's just the truth.
What's the plan now to actually win this war? Because it feels like we're losing. It doesn't seem to be going well.
Does not seem like we're losing, not one little bit.
I would like to know how many more Americans we have to ask to die for this mistake. Do you know?
I think it's an entirely inappropriate statement from you, sir.
Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous. And I mean, you military members or our parents or loved ones of military members, you should be outraged by the behavior of this Democrat Congress and these rhinos in the Republican Party. I've never seen anything like it with regard to our military when they follow their orders, and they've done it so beautifully and flawlessly in Iran. We've had 8 fatalities. That's fewer than in military training exercises in a year. It is still a tragedy. I get it. But what a brilliant, flawless, and amazing operation this has been. And this president has been more deliberate than any president in my lifetime with regard to giving Iran the opportunity to come to the table. He has exercised patience and grace, and the Democrat Party and the rhinos have done just the opposite. This is Kurt Lippold talking about how it might be time to kick Iran's butt.
He is giving diplomacy every last chance, and we've seen that. But there is going to come a point at his choosing, at Admiral Cooper's choosing, where they're going to strike when the Iranians, again, least expect it, so that we can hopefully take out more of this mosaic defense. And now we're going to begin to strike more of the strategic targets that matter, the logistics, the transportation hubs, perhaps even some of their oil industry facilities, so that they won't have an economic capability in the future, and they will literally be reliant on the world in order to rebuild and have a country.
Yeah, and it's going to have to happen. And they are being belligerent and proud, and I've said from the very beginning that no one could be allowed to survive that regime. If you're in the regime, if you're IRCG, if you're an Ayatollah sycophant, you have to be eliminated. That's it. It's like members of Hamas. You got to be all eliminated. There's no negotiating with you. CNN, however, is in bed. They're in Iran making heroes out of people. This is CNN in a market in Iran where they're teaching children and women how to shoot.
These kiosks have been set up in each of these sort of squares where members of the military there, you can see them with masks on, they're showing people, in this case a woman, the basic skills of how to use what I think is...
and defend the Ayatollah and his regime that killed 40,000 people just for speaking.
AK-47 or a Kalashnikov and things like that. Look over here. They're showing children how to use them.
How to kill possibly Americans and Israelis.
As well. It's all part of a sort of state-sponsored call to arms in case the war begins again.
CNN's being used by the mullahs.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to care.
No, they don't. It would be like going over to Nazi Germany and watching the leaders of the Reich train young boys to fight. That's exactly what it would be.
It's all guns on state television too. It's several Iranian...
These British reporters. Their cadence drives me nuts.
Channels broadcasting their hosts brandishing assault rifles. They gave me a weapon so I could learn how to use it, like you, this angle.
Yeah, so you could kill Israelis and, maybe Americans.
That tells her viewers. After his on-air training, this presenter fires off a round into the studio ceiling.
What kind of journalism? Who are you doing journalism for? Oh my God, CNN. Jeez Louise. Let's move on. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I know it still exists. It was a dinosaur when I was growing up, for God's sake. Has called on black athletes. Listen to this. Listen. So the Supreme Court decides correctly that gerrymandered districts based only on race are unconstitutional. So for some reason, the Congressional Black Caucus, which is Democrats, it's not about being black. It's about being black, liberal Democrats. That's it. There are black Republicans. They can't be a part of the Congressional Black Caucus. So it's a black liberal Democrat group. That's it. That's all. Does not represent all black people. Just black liberal Democrats. And the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I know it's still, it's still around. It's just still around. It's so crazy. Anyway, they're asking black athletes and fans to boycott public college athletic programs in states that have allegedly violated voting rights. So all of the states of the former Confederacy who Democrats were still in charge of, particularly in black districts, are asking black athletes to give up their careers to support the Association for the Advancement of Colored People and the Congressional Black Liberal Democrat Caucus. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Here is Hakeem Jeffries, who is, all sorts of butthurt. He says he's going to crush our souls, all sorts of stuff. Here he is yesterday. And by the way, this won't work because all of these college athletes are going to go, who the hell are you? And what is this National Association for the Advancement of Colored People? And why should I give a rip when my career is at stake here? Why would I ever consider giving up my athletic career to support your idiotic temper tantrum because you lost a Supreme Court decision?
With members of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as former athletes committed to this cause in getting this egregious situation turned around. This is an unprecedented moment featuring an unprecedented...
Why don't you have all the teams of the NFL teams in the South, all their black athletes boycott? How about that? How about the Tennessee Titans, and how about the Dallas Cowboys, and how about the whatever, the New Orleans Saints? Demand that on behalf of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and the Congressional Black Democrat Liberal Caucus. Why don't you ask professional athletes in the southern states that you're concerned about to walk off the job?
Unprecedented attack on black political representation. And therefore,
every black athlete down is like, Hakeem, who wants me to do what?
Requires an unprecedented response.
Yeah,
we are here.
Nobody's going to do it.
Standing in solidarity with the NAACP. And its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics, which is unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American.
What an unhinged and stupid thing to try to even demand that no one, not one single athlete, will participate in. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27-MEDICARE. Again, that's 27-MEDICARE. Call 27-MEDICARE today.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel, they make me feel like a transgender woman.
WCBM.
You gotta rejoin.
Dig it,
Boom,
dig it.
boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Would our Lord strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. How, 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 how.
Yeah, baby. On the cusp of a Memorial Day weekend, I think I might head up to Arlington National Cemetery this weekend. I drive by it all the time, by the way. If you haven't been, it's awe-inspiring. There is actually a cemetery near me about a mile from my apartment, and a lot of the Civil War dead are buried there. It is a remarkable place. I have not been to the Tomb of the Unknowns and seen the changing of the guard in a few years. I need to get up there. It's something else. It really is. It's just something else. As we picnic, as we enjoy our barbecues and all that, you see each one of those stones and realize that they gave it up. They gave everything up for us. And they aren't there with us, but they should be remembered as we enjoy this wonderful weekend. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People still thinks it's relevant. And the Congressional Black Liberal Democrat Caucus are asking black college athletes to boycott their athletic programs, destroy their careers, because they're butthurt about a Supreme Court decision that took away racially gerrymandered districts in Democrat-run states that have kept people in poverty, in crime, with poor schools, and dependent on government services, and aggrieved. So go ahead and just give up your athletic careers if you wouldn't mind. Do that, please. While you're at it, I said all black athletes in the NFL and NBA in the southern states that are affected by this should quit their jobs immediately. It's just so dumb. Here is a little bit more of Hakeem Jeffries on Capitol Hill demanding that these athletes and these schools are somehow complicit in this Supreme Court. It's so stupid.
And we believe that the silence of these institutions is complicity.
They had nothing to do with it. These schools had, none of these SC schools have any damn thing to do with this. You're just trying to get publicity. You're trying to rally some people behind your cause. It's not going to work. It's so utterly stupid.
That's right. And we will not stand for it.
Oh, okay. All right. You and the National Association of Colored People and the Congressional Black Democrat Liberal Caucus.
We will continue to stand with the NAACP.
Okay, I'm going to call my mom real quick. I want to make sure. Hey, Mom, guess what? Hakeem Jeffries, I know I hadn't heard about him either, but he wants me to just boycott the school that's paying for my scholarship and the possibility of destroying my career as an athlete. What do you think? Should I tell him to do what? Stick what where?
In encouraging athletes in our community to look elsewhere until these racially gerrymandered maps in the South are reversed, buried in the ground, never to rise again.
Yeah, and we want all black accountants to walk off the job because, I mean, honestly, what a ridiculously stupid thing to demand. I mean, utterly unhinged, lashing out. I don't know. Who we got to go after? Let's go after college students. Let's say that the SEC is somehow complicit. No, they're not. They were not involved at all. Nothing. None of this is involved. It's just ridiculous. Here's Carol Swain talking about, she was on Capitol Hill talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center. They tried to destroy her. She was on a podcast the other day talking about the NAACP. If you didn't know anything about the founding of the NAACP, listen up.
Do you think that the NAACP, an organization that is set apart for the advancement of colored people, do you think that they have experienced mission drift or mission creep?
Well, they were set up by the communists, and when they were founded in 1909.
Really?
And so they were always controlled by white progressives.
Wow.
And then when was it Julian Bond? I can't remember which one opened the door to the LGBT.
TQRSTW.
I'm not going to add the T because the T came on more recently. But they made the gay community. There was a book by the guy's name is.
Let's try to say the NAACP is nothing more than a leftist organization run by white liberals, and Malcolm X warned people in the 60s before he was murdered about the white liberal.
The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way.
What's that?
The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor.
What?
And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon.
And they do.
In this political football game
they do.
That is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
You quit the Democrat Party, you're racist.
The American Negro is nothing but a political football. And the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism. False promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leaders who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition.
Yeah, pretty much. And keep gerrymandered racial districts in Democrat areas in poverty, dependence, crime, poor schools. And they vote Democrat. And they vote Democrat, and they vote Democrat. But this house of cards has fallen. Finally, I've waited my whole life for this. Representative Andy Ogles joins us, representing Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. This should be fun. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
Under the sea. Under the sea, it isn't better down where it's wetter, take it from me. Our Navy has gone down to defeat, they've taken down most of our fleet, nowhere to hide, our ships reside under the sea. One by one our ships are sinking, U.S. forces have won the day. It's enough to make me start drinking as the torpedo heads my way. Our Navy faces complete destruction, soon we'll have no ships in the sea. Hormuz has become one big graveyard, drunken declare sweet victory. And under the sea, under the sea, how we abhor the ocean floor, it's not for me. Iran has fought this war in vain. Here comes a U.S. Air Force plane. If you're on our ship, you'll take a trip under the sea.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
What's the old song? You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Trump.
Rob, where are you? I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't crank on my microphone. It is the Rob Carson Show. Yeah, you don't mess around with Trump. That's what it is. Right now, the Republican Party is in an enormous transitional period, and there are still a few hangers-on in the Senate who don't support Donald Trump, and they're getting picked off one by one. Joining us to talk about this and other things, including an Assimilation Act he is pushing, Representative Andy Ogles from Tennessee. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, you're spot on. You don't mess with Trump. Amen.
Dude, I want to tell you, they don't realize this, and I had heard actually Kevin McCarthy talking about, so many people. I'm a Gen Xer. I think you might be close, but we've been taught never to blaspheme Donald Trump, and I would never blaspheme Donald Trump because he did, or not Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan. But I'll tell you, I think that Donald Trump is becoming bigger than Reagan because the country has changed so dramatically, and because the country and the government has become so corrupt, he's going to be far more, I think, influential not only on national but international affairs and changing not only the country but the world. Your thoughts?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, you hit the nail on the head, is that people are sick and tired of the backstabbing and the corruption, the weaponization of the government. So you have J6, you have Arctic Frost, you have the Rampart 12 investigation. They took Perry's phone, they took my phone, and people are seeing this and they're like, holy crap, the government has gone awry. And so you have people, I would argue, that may not necessarily agree with Trump on every issue, but they appreciate his leadership and his counsel, and that was reflected in the elections returns that you saw all across the country yesterday.
This did not surprise me at all, by the way. It should be fairly obvious at this point when you look at not only like the primary process of the 2024 election into the election, the victory by Donald Trump over all of the political persecution, the attempts to take him off the ballot, the raid on Mar-a-Lago, the 2 impeachments, the 2 assassination attempts. Everybody who has a brain knows that the forces of darkness are trying to take him and us out. And it should have been a bellwether when you saw what happened in Indiana, when you saw what happened on Saturday, and then yesterday should not have come as a surprise at all.
No, and again, if you believe the media, you look at the Kentucky race, and look, full disclosure, Massie's a friend, but obviously, he wasn't voting on the agenda that the American people wanted. At some point, that race got personal between he and President Trump, and obviously the president did what he did. But again, it's just, like you said, Indiana should have been the wake-up call if anyone was trying to figure out how much influence the president has, and does the president still have a command and in touch with the electorate? And then, like you said, like we've said, Indiana was first, then you saw Saturday, and then daggum. And by the way, the internet was saying that the Massie race is going to be close. They're now saying that Byron Donalds is not leading in Florida. I mean, it's total nonsense. People aren't buying it anymore.
No, they aren't. And we see, I had mentioned a little while ago, and this is slightly off topic, with regard to the SCOTUS decision on racial gerrymandering, which is essentially states involved here are Confederate states, mostly, where Democrats have been in charge for the last 170 years, where they have kept these racially gerrymandered districts in poverty, dependence, with poor schools, massive crime, all of these things. And now the Democrat Party is going so bananas, they're asking, and tell me if this makes any sense, SEC school athletes to boycott their sports.
Look, that's just, I mean, like these guys and gals for that matter get paid on viewership and the brands that they're building. And if you want to build a brand, you're going to want to go to the SEC. I'm sorry.
But you know what? Why would you? It's a non sequitur. It doesn't make any sense. Andy Ogles, how about you just say any NFL or NBA franchise in those states, all of the black athletes, you should walk off in solidarity, because if you don't, you are in the league. That's the kind of sense that it makes. They're acting like for some reason these universities are complicit in the SCOTUS decision, which is absolutely and utterly ridiculous. And how many athletes do you suppose are going to walk off?
None.
Yes.
But there's a double standard, right? So if you look at the map, you look up at the Northeast, depending on the state, it's 42% Republican, and there's almost no Republican members of Congress. So now you have the South, you have these racially gerrymandered districts that are unconstitutional, and so now the South is abiding with the Supreme Court decision, and suddenly they have a problem with it. So it's okay if they cheat, right? But as soon as we do in compliance with the law, then they have a problem with it. And enough is enough. But, Tennessee was an 8-1 district or a state. Now we're 9-0, so it's a pickup seat. And the ramifications for this, for the midterms, are huge in that, when you look at the swing districts as Republicans, we only have to win 3, 4, maybe 5, and we hold the House, whereas before it was 9, 10, or 11. And so this means that our odds and the probabilities of Republicans holding the House is huge, and it's significant because if the Democrats take control, they've already said on day one, their priority isn't the American people. It's not national security. It's not cost of living. It's impeaching Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's impeaching Donald Trump. And stacking the Supreme Court and making Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia states. It's so ridiculous. They don't want to lead. They don't want to represent. No. They want to rule.
That's right. It's all about power. It's all about control. It's all about you submitting, me submitting. And I'm just not going to go along with the nonsense.
How is it right now dealing with Democrats on Capitol Hill when you've got Hakeem Jeffries saying that, quote, he's going to crush the souls of his opponents? That's demonic to me. When a politician says he's going to crush your soul, I have never heard that from a politician in my life, unless it's Joseph Stalin.
Well, yeah, exactly. But again, that goes back to that double standard that the Democrats have. They talk about Republicans or, I'm one of the most conservative members of Congress, that I should toe down the political rhetoric, yet they're the ones that are calling for violence. They're the ones that are saying people should take to the streets and they may not be peaceful. They're the ones that are saying that President Trump is, a Hitler or a Nazi, or he's an enemy, or he's a monster, and he should be taken out. It's them, not us. And oh, by the way, all these crazy shootings, they're all libtards, right? They're not Republicans, they're not conservatives, they're all wackadoodles.
Well, it's because, when if you repeat a lie enough, we all know this came from Germany, all right? When you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. So if you call Donald Trump a fascist, if you call him a white supremacist, if you call him Hitler, and by the way, all three of those things are absolutely absurd, always have been absolutely absurd, then you're going to people who are unhinged act out and actually literally write the word fascist on a shell casing to kill Charlie Kirk. That's intentional. That is intentional. That's what they've done. And that's how bad things have gotten. We need to take a break. Could you hang on through the break, Andy Ogles? I want to talk to you about your Assimilation Act on the other side of the break.
Sure.
All right, my brother. I appreciate you. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
right here on WCBM.
We will beat the far-right extremists. We're going to win in November, and then we're going to crush their souls.
I guess part of how we as House Democrats view this moment, either MAGA extremists are going to break the country, or we're going to break them.
Yeah, sure.
And our goal is to break them.
Ain't gonna happen.
We will defeat them. We have to beat them electorally, and then we have to break their spirit.
Yeah, going to break our spirit and crush our souls. Good luck with that. Representative Andy Ogles from Tennessee, we are battle-hardened veterans of this attack by not only Democrats, the deep state, and the media. So we're not going to have our souls crushed, right?
No, and but keep in mind again with the weaponization, they've tried and they continue to try. They've targeted conservatives and media and me and so many others, and I mean, and it was intentional. And so buckle up, Buttercup, but we're not backing down.
No, we are not. Before we talk about your Assimilation Act, now the John Thune and Cassidy and whatnot, they're going to try to enforce this War Powers Act and snatch victory from Donald Trump as we're, getting ready to hopefully wrap this up. I just think that is so awful. That exposes to me whose side they're really on. They are liberal. They are down with the swamp or Democrats. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, so you have that issue, right? And you have people on both sides of the Iran war. So let's set that aside for a moment. Look at the Save America Act, which is overwhelmingly supported, 83, 85% of Americans, Republicans, Democrats, independents, white, black, brown, everybody supports this, right? There's no reason why the Senate hasn't taken it up. Meanwhile, in the House, we passed it twice. We've heard the American people. We understand we need to secure our elections, right? And the Senate's not doing a dadgum thing. But why? What you just said. They don't want to give Trump the victory. And now you look at Iran. Like, we're on the verge of ending this war. And what are they going to do? They're going to try to pull the rug out from under him. They're undermining his authority. And again, but, they're spoiled children over there. We're over here in the House busting our you-know-what while they're naming bridges and taking cocktail parties.
And you know what else? It is essentially leaving a seed for the Ayatollah to come back. It is so damn sickening. I'm just beyond pissed about this. Sorry about that. Let's talk about your Assimilation Act, because the whole world is looking at America to move in here as rather than assimilating, rather becoming citizens, whether it be proud Americans, part of the melting pot. You got people coming in from hellholes like Somalia because we have a rich entitlement programs, and the Democrat parties need voters. What are you going to do with this Assimilation Act?
Well, so let's set the stage, right? Before, all of this, the Doge effort and the uncovering of the fraud and abuse, people were not maybe fully tuned into immigration. They understood it needed to be fixed, but weren't as passionate about it, right? It was still an 80-20 issue. But now that you see the Somalian fraud, now you see the hospice fraud, now you see, just go down the list, people are fed up. So you go back in history, 1965, the Hart-Celler Act, that changed how we allowed immigration in this country. So before then, we had a quota system. 1965 happened, and it set the framework for this mass invasion, and I'm going to say that again, invasion of people under the Biden administration to come in and try to, take over our communities. So what my bill does, the Assimilation Act, it reforms H-1B visas where we know there's fraud and abuse. It ends chain migration.
Yes.
You have to have a job if you want to come here. And, oh, by the way, if you're a criminal, if you're a gang member, you need not apply because we don't want you. And I want to say this. It's our country. We get to decide who comes in. We get to decide who leaves. So I'm fortunate. I carry a lot of legislation for the White House. I'm carrying the immigration reform packages for the White House, and this has to be done. I have confidence that the House, we could actually get it done. Now the question becomes, like the SAVE Act, like the War Powers Act, the Senate is going to be the one who will likely screw this up.
You also have some contingencies in here about ending not only chain migration. What about birthright citizenship? What's going on with that?
That's right. Enough is enough. I mean, that was not what the Founding Fathers intended.
No.
It has been used and abused, and we have to get back to that original intent that was addressing an issue with children of slaves. That's where it was meant to stop. So this whole, anchor babies, and you see now, one house, I just saw a news report in the last, 2-3 days, where one home was the address for like 1,000 anchor babies from China.
Yeah.
Folks, people are using this to get citizenship to spy on our country. This is a national security issue. So this isn't just about immigration. This is about them coming to America, spying on America. China steals our technology, our intellectual property. We've caught now 2 or 3 professors at universities bringing in biological material, and the list goes on and on and on. And now we just have a mayor in California who admits to being a spy. So we have to address this. We have to say no more.
Well, I grew up as the great American melting pot. It was the proudest thing in the world to be born in America, to come to America. I am, my ancestors were not slave owners. They came here after 1900. They moved to the Midwest to till the soil and feed the world, and we were proud of that. And we busted our butts. And then in the last 40 years, it's really been bastardized. The immigration system has really been bastardized, particularly the last 20. And we need to get back to the best and the brightest, the people who want to yearn to breathe free and be a part of this great American experience, which is the greatest engine of individual and economic liberty in the history of mankind. And we're going to get there, Andy. We're going to get there, right?
That's right.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir. And so, and again, it's America first, right? But it's also Americans first.
Yes, sir.
So if we're bringing in labor that we quite frankly don't need or want here, that's hurting Americans. That's taking money away from taxpayers. And I'll pick on the Afghanis. So under the Biden administration, roughly 200,000 Afghanis came into this country. Over 50% of those that came in are on welfare. Over 70% of those are getting free health care.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have veterans who aren't getting the services they need. Meanwhile, we have still a suicide rate amongst our veterans at 20 to 22 a day. Jeez. If I have to choose between Americans and veterans versus Afghanis, I choose Americans. I choose
100%.
Veterans. I choose our children.
100%.
I choose Americans first.
Yeah. Do you, when you're walking by Steve Cohen over there, do you give him a little what for?
I'll be honest with you. He obviously is on the way other side of the political spectrum, but he's always been kind and respectful to me, so I'm not going to dish him. That being said, it is time for him to retire.
All right, brother. God bless you, and a happy Memorial Day. You going back home?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me. Assimilation Act, Andy Ogles, representing Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. Always a blessing to have on. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello, kids. How are you? Valentina, Sportek, Wild Bill West, Pat Carr. God, you guys are talking up a storm today. What's the deal here? J.D. Garrett. Well, Dookie Pizza. We have Schoolhouse Rock, baby. Yeah, 100%. Great American melting pot. Great American melting pot. I was proud of my country. We all were. Black, white, and otherwise. Barack Obama was the guy who ushered all this racial division, and it was intentional. It was intentional. Spoiled, entitled Marxist communist coming in. Anyway, Donald Trump's talking at the Coast Guard commencement today. It's awesome. Hello, Mickey Hastings. Hi, Balloon. What's going on? What are you guys going this weekend? I think I'm going to get my real smoker out. I've got an indoor smoker, but I got a real smoker. And then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to plug it in by the pool. I've got an electric smoker. I know it is an electric smoker. It's okay. It's an electric smoker. It's really good. I'm going to have to do some ribs, I think. I'm going to do some real ribs. I don't know. I want to do pork butt, and I'm not feeding that many people. So what am I going to do next here? Hakeem, Break Their Spirits, Carol Swain. Oh. Eric Price. I'm on the air right now. I'm on the radio now. I'll have to call you back, okay? All right, thank you. Newsmax calling me. You would think, but they don't. The TV people don't know. They're doing it. I enjoyed talking to Andy Ogles. I hope you did as well. It was a delightful conversation. It's nice to know we have some people with cojones in our Congress, in the House of Representatives. So if you missed any of it, make sure to go to the podcast. And as you're doing whatever this weekend, make sure to check out the podcast because, it is the number 10 political commentary podcast in America. That's just crazy. My mom's looking down going, what the heck? Really? I'm pretty excited about it. The Democrat Party is, they have no direction. They have no platform. They have no idea of where the country needs to go. They failed during Joe Biden's administration, destroyed the whole country. And here is a little montage I put together of the Democrats. Kamala Harris, she says, no bad ideas, right? No bad ideas. But the only ideas Democrats have, nothing about taxes, nothing about bringing manufacturing back. It's only about packing the Supreme Court, making Puerto Rico and D.C. into states and basically ruling us. And it's kind of funny. So this is a montage of your Democrat Party.
We need to have a playbook that is born out of our ability to assume some risk, perhaps. I've been thinking about, we need to have basically a no bad ideas brainstorm.
Thank you all for the warm welcome. I love being in a room full of nerds.
Wow.
My kind of people. The four of us.
You guys have Elizabeth Warren as one of your major influencers in the Democrat Party. Yeah, I know.
Are doing the hard policy work right now. The nuts and bolts, the wiring. Here's how the people.
Yeah, woo, that's inspiring. She is an inspiring leader.
Pieces of work. Here's how we get the money in. Here's how we get the money back out. Can I get an amen on that one?
Oh, my God.
You got to make them do this.
Either MAGA extremists are going to break the country or we're going to break them. And our goal is to break them. We have to beat them electorally, and then we have to break their spirit.
You're never going to do that because you've been trying it for 10 frickin' years, and we only get stronger. And how dare you say such a ridiculous thing?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable fighting fire with fire.
Oh,
yes, we all want the better angels. Yes, we want the Sorkin sound and music.
That's Gavin Newsom.
A little West Wing. I do. But we'll lose our country.
You were destroying our country. We're saving it.
We will lose our country. I'm done winning arguments. With all due respect to the niceties.
You never win arguments.
It feels good, but we're going to lose our republic.
No, we're not.
Yeah, and the founding fathers did not live and die.
The only thing you're losing is your ability to destroy the country as founded, which is what you've been trying for decades. And we finally figured it out. We finally uncovered your plot, and we're kicking your butts. That's really what's happening. On the other side of the break, Washington, D.C. has just become a jewel. A couple people have gone viral with their acknowledgement of that. Todd Blanche yesterday on Capitol Hill destroying Democrats. Let's see. Emily Sturge, campus reform. Colleges are planning private grad ceremonies for illegal alien students. That's all coming up. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 on a Wednesday already. Can you believe it? We got Memorial Day weekend coming up. My TV show, Rob Carson's What in the World? I just say revenues are up. We have a great revenue report. Newsmax, Newsmax, Boca Raton-based media company, first quarter revenue, 14% increase year over year. Can you believe that? And I'm not going to take all credit for it. I'll take a good share of credit for it. But clearly, Newsmax also had something to do with it. The other people who work there. It's a great company that Chris Ruddy has built. And it is exponential growth. Exponential growth. It's glorious. It's absolutely amazing to be a part of this company. And for Chris Ruddy to give me a shot, my entire life I waited to host a TV show, and he got me off from selling cars, for God's sake, and he gave me a platform. And I've been doing this 6 years. I've been doing this 6 years with Newsmax. For those who've just tuned in, we are now number 10. We were just up to number 10 political podcast in the country. Number 42 for news. Number 250 overall podcast in the entire country out of thousands, hundreds of thousands of podcasts. And I made the decision to move from Kansas City to Washington, D.C., and it's just taken off. But Chris Ruddy gave me a call at a car dealership. I was working there. I was a drunk. I was unhappy. I was asking God to let me die in my sleep. And he said, "Rob Carson, yeah, Chris Ruddy, yeah, where have you been?" I said, "Well, I've been in an abusive relationship with radio for 20 years." He goes, "I'm going to make you a star, Rob." That's what he told me. About a year later, I had dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump and sitting across from Mike Huckabee and Dick Morris down at the end of the table. And oh my God, dreams do come true. Dreams do come true. And then we went through all of the throes and the fits of Donald Trump's persecution and all of this, and all the things that I mentioned that we've been through, censorship and whatnot, and decided to come here to Washington, D.C. And you know what? Guess what? This show is still in its infancy nationally. Did you know that? It is. We're adding affiliate stations, but this show is, I'm a fresh voice in talk radio nationally. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Yeah. Because we're walking in Rush's footsteps. No one will fill his shoes. We're walking in his footsteps. No one will fill his shoes. And Newsmax was good enough to give me this opportunity. I hope you might consider downloading the Newsmax app or getting a Newsmax Plus membership. Just go to Newsmax.com or NewsmaxTV.com for listings and all that. But support us because we're doing a great job. And we got great people on the air, Finnerty and Schmidt and Higbee and Greg Kelly. And I mean, I can go on and on. They're all household names now. 6 years ago, just getting on the radar. Now, boom, and it's just going to get bigger. So I appreciate your support. This is getting bigger. Woo, boy. Jim Jordan, they got a hearing on the Southern Poverty Law Center because the Southern Poverty Law Center was a corrupt organization, absolutely corrupt organization that decided to, say they were representing black people. And what they decided to do is become a completely Marxist political movement bent on destroying conservatives, destroying people, tainting their reputations. Moms for Liberty, calling them white supremacists. They paid members of the KKK to create Charlottesville so they could use it as a psyop to go after Donald Trump, and Joe Biden could say, "Oh yeah, I'm running for president because of Charlottesville," and they made up this whole thing. 12 years of psyop that America's white supremacist and white supremacy is on the rise, which it's always been a lunatic fringe movement, by the way. Wasn't on the ascent at all. See my Substack if you want to read about it. But the SPLC should be driven into bankruptcy because they created Charlottesville to profit off Charlottesville to build on this faux division narrative that we're somehow a racist country, which was ushered in with Barack Obama, by the way, spoiled, entitled, mixed race man-child who went to school at a private school in Hawaii, and his spoiled, entitled wife, who are nothing more than Maoist Marxists, and it's all being exposed. That said, there's this hearing on Capitol Hill, the Southern Poverty Law Center being exposed for the awful organization it is that tried to destroy so many people's lives.
They called them field sources, individuals the Southern Poverty Law Center paid to gin up hate, the very hate they told their supporters that they were fighting.
Yeah.
Field source number 37, F-37, coordinated transportation and attended the 2017 rally in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
The Southern Poverty Law Center paid him $270,000.
Yeah.
$270,000 to the guy who helped put together the event where a young lady was killed.
You know, it's interesting.
They called him field source.
Whoops, sorry.
He got $1 million over 9 years.
Yeah.
F unknown. We don't know what number this
You know, it's kind of weird because the same kind of thing happened with January the 6th. I mentioned that yesterday. I had an extended monologue on January the 6th, that there were people in the crowd meant to create the event. And then the event was blown up to be something that it bigger than it was. It was somehow an insurrection and all this, and then it was used as a political weapon. Same freaking modus operandi. Same modus operandi as Charlottesville.
Guy was. But we do know he was the Imperial Wizard of the Klan, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And he was on the Southern Poverty Law Center payroll.
Yeah.
F-27. Southern Poverty Law Center paid him $300,000 in 6 years.
Wow.
And what did he do?
What?
He ran the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club.
Wow.
F-40.
He probably had the prettiest bike.
3. He was president of some crazy group.
Dude, where'd you get all that money? Oh, I don't know. I was selling cocaine.
And he was previously convicted of cross burning, but the Southern Poverty Law Center thought he was worth $19,000 of their donors' money.
Did you give money to the Southern Poverty Law Center? Because they were paying those people with your money. There you go.
All told,
what?
$3 million.
Yeah, and they got really super duper rich off it. They had hundreds of millions of dollars donated after Charlottesville, the PSYOP they bought and paid for. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Carol Swain is a black conservative. Here she is on Capitol Hill talking about what they did to her. You know, they were calling everybody, and it became almost laughable after a while, that if you got targeted by the Southern Poverty Law Center and like Mothers for Liberty, Moms for Liberty, or whatever, calling them white supremacists, it was absurd. They became a cartoon, but some people gobbled it up. And then they went after Charlie Kirk, and they painted a target on Charlie Kirk, and 4 months later, he was murdered. He was murdered, echoing the assassin echoing the words of the Southern Poverty Law Center. So they need to be driven into the pits of hell. They need to be driven into bankruptcy. Here's Carol Swain.
Dr. Swain, what was the impact of SPLC's radical, unnecessary attack on you? What was the result of that?
She's probably a racist, right?
It actually set in motion a series of events that led to my retiring in 2017.
Yeah.
Now, there are more things that happened, but once the Southern Poverty Law Center labels a black conservative as an apologist for white supremacists, then people don't know how to process that. But I can tell you that James Taranto of the Wall Street Journal wrote a 2,000-word article in defense of Carol Swain. That's the title of the article, In Defense of Carol Swain.
Yeah, they tried to destroy everybody. She's a racist, too. Here's an example of the tentacles of the SPLC.
Charlottesville was a payday for the SPLC.
Yeah.
And this so-called informant may have been the SPLC's most cunning investment.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if it became known that the SPLC had paid a Charlottesville organizer, that would be a massive scandal.
You'd think.
No wonder the SPLC allegedly lied to a bank, setting up shell companies to fund these.
Yeah, they were funding the KKK and whatnot, and they used shell companies to cover it up.
Informants. Why does this matter? SPLC staff have briefed DOJ prosecutors. Big tech companies have used the SPLC to blacklist conservative nonprofits.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage.
School districts across the country have adopted the SPLC's curriculum.
Yeah, they have.
Hundreds of companies systematically exclude conservatives from their charity programs because of the SPLC.
Yep.
The SPLC also have offshoots that engage in similar efforts against conservatives. The Change the Terms Coalition banded together to pressure big tech to deplatform conservatives.
Yeah, they did.
And former SPLC staff have founded the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism. If an organization can inflate threats influence federal policy, and conceal its role in allegedly fueling the very extremism it condemns, then Congress has a duty to investigate it and its offshoots.
100%, 100%. And there's a reason why, maybe your anti-MAGA relatives call you a racist or don't speak to you anymore. Yeah. They should be ashamed that they sided with those people. They should be really ashamed that they sided with those people. It's always been an absurdity to call Donald Trump a white supremacist or Hitler or a Nazi. It's always been absurd to call us MAGA fascists enemies of democracy and white supremacists. It's always been absurd. How dare you? How dare you? I'm so done with it. How dare you do this to our country? And you, SPLC, and your minions need to pay for it. Shut them down. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts.
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
Come on! Here's Mike Johnson talking about President Trump's endorsement driving Thomas Massie out of Congress.
Last night, I'm just in a nutshell, I talked with the president late last night. after everything was all the dust was settling over all the elections. And we talked about how his endorsement is the most powerful in the history of politics.
It is.
Anywhere in the world.
It's
a phenomenon.
It is.
I wasn't involved in the Kentucky primary, Thomas Massie's primary. The leadership team wasn't because he's an incumbent. But the president certainly made his opinion known, and I'm not surprised by the results there. The president knows what's at stake in this fall's elections, and he and I need conservative patriots here ready to help us continue saving America.
Now, the reason why, for instance, the establishment Republican Party has sunk $150 million in Texas to make sure that John Cornyn stays in office versus Ken Paxton is because they want to keep rhinos who are anti-Trump in the Senate. They are on their last legs there. Right now, if you look at polling, Tallarico versus either of these candidates, our candidates are performing at the same level. So there's no advantage to John Cornyn versus Tallarico versus Paxton versus Tallarico. This is only about the Republican Party in Washington, D.C., the establishment, Mitt Romney, John McCain wing, still wielding power, still not passing the SAVE Act, etc. That's really what's going on here. This is, hold on, I got another soundbite. Sometimes I try to do show prep during the show. This is Ken Paxton on Fox today.
The president today?
I sure did. Yeah, he called me this morning.
Did you speak to the president today?
I sure did. Yeah, he called me this morning. He said he didn't say exactly what was going to happen. He just said, "I think you're going to like what I'm doing today."
I bet that was that a short conversation? Was it a longer conversation?
No, we talked about it.
Did he tell you why?
He suggested that he thought I was the best candidate. I don't want to get into details about everything he said because it's a private conversation. But yeah, he thinks I'm the best candidate and that I will actually help him get some of these things done, like the Save America Act, which I have been promoting since they first passed it in the U.S. House. So
yeah, and this should actually send a warning shot over John Thune's bow. But the Thune and Cassidy now are going to try to pass the war powers, so Donald Trump has to go to Congress to finish off Iran. It's not going to work, and they're in their dying throes. I say that the Democrat Party are like movie vampires, dying like movie vampires, screeching and crying and trying to drag us into hell. Same goes with the establishment Republican Party in Washington, D.C. So there is some crazy things happening here in Washington, D.C. A lot of well, for instance, Donald Trump is beautifying the city like it's never been. And I got to tell you, since I moved here, almost 10 months ago, Union Station is clean. There are no homeless encampments. There's no graffiti downtown. I've been down there many times, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The reflecting pool is going to be amazing when they get it done. All the Democrats can do is caterwaul and screech about it. And there is this park that has a fountain named after Malcolm X, and it has been this thing has been vacant for years. It has not been working at all. Let me see if I can find exactly the name of the fountain. Here it is. It's the 13 Basin Cascading Fountain, Meridian Hill, also known as Malcolm X Park, is flowing again. Okay, here is a woman who's gone viral talking about how amazing this is, because Washington, D.C. had become a crap hole from hell. Georgetown had become a crap hole from hell. It used to be vibrant and awesome. Now it is again, by the way. Now it is again. It used to be that you couldn't have a car in Washington, D.C. without a good chance of it being carjacked. But that's over. And we're actually making Washington, D.C. into what it should be. You know why? Because we don't have to live in darkness. You don't have to live this way. In America's inner cities, you don't have to live in squalor. It's all because of the people who are representing you. But I want you to listen to this woman walking around.
I'm going to dox myself because I'm moving, but I've lived near Meridian Hill Park in D.C. for almost 2 years now. And the water's never been in the pond there. This has never happened before. I was always too afraid to come here because of the homeless people, but they're all gone.
Yeah.
And it seriously looks like Paris.
It does. It looks like Paris.
I mean, I've never seen this many people out here. I mean, look, everyone is enjoying it. Everybody. A year ago, Trump said he was going to clean out D.C., and he did. It is clean, it's calm, it's quiet, except for the Chipotle down in Navy Yard, apparently this weekend, but I wasn't there for that. The homeless are out. The birds are chirping. The water is in. The ponds. The fountains are working. Thank you, Mr. This is the benefit of having a construction man as your president.
Yeah, 100%. I went to DuPont Circle. I told you this. DuPont Circle used to be shopping carts full of garbage, homeless people, drug addicts, people sleeping on the park benches and all that. I went down there a couple weeks ago. It was filled with people having picnics. It was joyous. It was joyous. There's no reason why we can't live this way all the time. There's no reason why LA can't be this way. There's no reason why San Francisco can't be this way. There's no reason why St. Louis can't be this way. There's no reason why Baltimore can't be this way. Democrats have done this. Here's it. All the D.C. fountains. I didn't even know we had so many D.C. fountains. They've not been working for years, but now they are.
Joseph, yeah, because it's so hot out here today, but those who came out here tell me that they're just so happy that the fountains have reopened and are flowing, as you can see, because they say they provide a fresh space for both locals and tourists to enjoy areas like this one all over our city, especially with the warmer months.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. And Trump's doing another amazing things. Trump RX, which the media is ignoring altogether, making prescription drugs affordable. Joe Biden's, I'm going to bring down the cost of insulin. And that's all he did. That's all he did.
Presidential deals. These are some of the most affordable brand name drugs in America, made possible thanks to our president's legendary deal making. So let's take a look at a few of these. This is Foundayo, the new GLP-1 pill, 77% off.
Yeah.
This is the insulin medication, 72% off.
Wow.
This is Trulicity, 61% off.
Wow.
These are life-changing savings for millions
on a website that works.
Of Americans.
Yeah.
Now,
it even gets better. There's a map on here, by the way.
Use mine. Capsule Pharmacy. Boom, there it is. Now, we also created another way to find the best price. Introducing Map Search. For the first time, you can see chain and local independent pharmacies on the same map. So here's my location. I see an option here at a pharmacy for $18, and a block away, $8.42.
That is amazing. That is amazing. When they fired up the idiotic website for Obamacare, it crashed the first day. They spent tens of millions of dollars on it. It actually works. It actually works. We don't have to live in darkness. This includes you Democrats. You don't have to live in darkness. Come to the light. It's beautiful here. Let's take a break and come back. Emily Sturge, Campus Reform, joins us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
She's caught in a trap, and now she's out. Trump was right to fire you, Pam Bondi. We've not seen one arrest. It seems what you do best is protecting crooks such as John Brennan. Couldn't go on forever with suspicious lies, and nobody was buying your phony alibis. Epstein's client list you said did not exist, contradicting everything you told us. You really changed your tune. Only a buffoon would not suspect that something's fishy. No one has been indicted. You didn't even try. So hit the road, Pam Bondi. Time to say goodbye.
With members of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as former athletes committed to this cause in getting this egregious situation turned around. This is an unprecedented moment featuring an unprecedented attack on black political representation, and therefore it requires an unprecedented response. We are here standing in solidarity with the NAACP and its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics.
Emily Sturge, campus reform. I wanted to open with that because I'm trying to figure out how the Democrat Party would ask student athletes in schools where the racially gerrymandered districts have been made, unconstitutional. Why they would ask college athletes in these states to destroy their careers, and what kind of difference would that make, honestly? It's one of the most absurd things I've ever heard. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Emily Sturge.
Well, I wish I could give you some answer of substance, but honestly, there's no logic to that statement.
I know.
I don't understand. I don't understand why the Democratic Party would call on young people to sabotage their own careers in the name of politics. I think sports give so many students, no matter their race, give them remarkable opportunities, give them remarkable scholarships. And I think it's something that we should celebrate across all skin colors.
Well, what also I find it's kind of interesting because it's the National Organization for the Advancement of Colored People asking Gen Z members to get behind that organization, which is so very antiquated. And then also with the Congressional Black Democrat Liberal Caucus, like they're going to, it made no sense at all. It's like, if they really want to ask the pro athletes in the affected states, ask the Dallas Cowboys to quit their jobs and see how it's so patently absurd. And I think the reason why they go after young people like this is because they feel like they're the most impressionable, obviously.
Absolutely, but honestly, as a member of Generation Z, I don't think any members of my generation would buy into this.
No.
I've reported at Campus Reform. My generation loves proving themselves. We love merit. We love things being treated, outside of politics. We don't want to be seen in these boxes for our identity.
No.
We don't want to be just seen for what we bring to the table if it comes to DEI. Students want to work hard in our education system. I've reported how university students, we don't want our applications just to judge us based on DEI boxes or things like that. I think we're talking about a really remarkable generation here, and I don't think they're going to fall for these lies.
Yeah, and look at the throes that you've been put through since COVID. How has things changed on America's campi? I realize there's still a lot of nonsense, don't get me wrong. But there have to be some pretty dramatic changes the last 6 years or so, kind of throwing off the nonsense that was ushered in, from 2012 to 2020.
Absolutely. And I give credit to the president there because for so many years at Campus Reform, we reported how DEI courses were required for students to graduate. I believe it was 2/3 of colleges at one point we reported that required DEI in order for these students to graduate. We saw college applications, even the way that universities hired professors. Everything involved these political, ideological litmus tests. And then, of course, on top of that, we had men and women's sports. We had campus anti-Semitism. Everything was a mess for years. And then President Trump came back into the Oval Office, and now we see merit matters once again on our university campuses. Universities have begun to remove some of those DEI courses or offices or position titles, and we've even seen schools bring back standardized testing. We've seen schools ban men from women's sports, clean up some of that campus anti-Semitism that was going on for so many years. So we've seen a lot of remarkable changes just with this presidency.
You've been doing some investigating and have discovered that there are universities that are planning private graduation ceremonies for illegal alien students.
Yes. Well, it's graduation season, and yes, this spring, as a reporter, I've uncovered 10 of these universities so far. They're hosting private graduation ceremonies for illegal alien students, and honestly, I'm not shocked. It's schools like Rutgers, the schools in the University of California system, the University of Washington. Well, they're hosting these separate ceremonies. I'm not shocked because I've been tracking these ceremonies since last year. But I'll tell you the difference this year. We're a year into the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, and these universities, they've gotten smarter, they've gotten more secretive. They don't want Tom Homan to show up. They don't want ICE to show up as unwelcome guests. So they've committed to making these ceremonies private. They are committed to protecting these illegal alien students. They're being very secretive about the location, and they're even giving out guidance on how to avoid ICE and how to avoid deportation. It's certainly a shame. It's a shame to see our universities celebrate these students and then even help them circumvent our laws.
Well, what's really dumb is they're getting them together in a private gathering together, and you've got a federal government that has the ability to surveil and fine people. I don't know if you noticed, but there are a lot of people getting arrested in ICE raids completely by surprise. Really? This is just stupid. Why would you do that? It's not like ICE is standing in front of the University of North Carolina's grad ceremony going to pick out illegals. This is the dumbest thing ever.
No, they're making it too easy, and the reality is I should be camped out. I mean, we're talking about students here, not the students who did it the right way, not the students who are here on visas. We're talking about students who are breaking our nation's laws. They're They're stealing taxpayer-funded resources from American students, and they're stealing classroom seats away from American students at our federally funded institutions. The Department of Education, the Department of Justice, they should be all over these ceremonies. Yeah. They should be sniffing these ceremonies out and cutting funding from these schools that are protecting illegal aliens and teaching them how to break our laws.
They're still doing the black graduations and the gay graduations, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and we've actually reported some of these LGBTQ ceremony graduations going on even at religious schools, even at Catholic universities.
Wow.
I mean, it's remarkable still in the year 2026, so many of these segregated graduations are still taking place.
Yeah, except for in some seminaries for priests, you'd be a segregated straight graduation. I'm Catholic, I can say it. I'm Catholic, I can say it. Emily Sturge, on the other side of the break, could you hold on?
Let's do it.
I want to talk a little bit about young Gen Zers, growing surge in Catholicism, among other things. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
County.
It is the Rob Carson Show on the Newsmax hotline. Emily Sturge, Campus Reform at Real Emily Sturge on X. I was shocked the other day when I read that 6-1 Democrat speakers dominate 2026 commencement stages at top 100 universities. No, not one little bit, Emily. Not one little bit. It is remarkable, isn't it?
It It is remarkable, and this is something that I've kept a close eye on this graduation season. I mean, we've seen speakers like Nancy Pelosi, or Democratic Representatives Ro Khanna, Jamie Raskin, even Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Oh, dear God.
Even talking to college students at their commencement ceremonies. But look, I'm not shocked to see all these leftist speakers because, well, yeah, the higher education system is relentless and it won't even let graduates have their final day on campus without a leftist political lecture.
You know, this is using a captive audience. And that's what academia is. That's why academia brainwashes kids, because they're so afraid to say anything against their university professor because they'll get fired. They have to sit here and take it. And it is they are able to indoctrinate some, but not all, Emily.
That's absolutely true, and we've seen such a rise of conservative students. But I want to point out, whether it's commencement speakers or professors or classroom culture, I mean, it constantly, we see the same problem. Students are hearing one side. Our university classrooms, well, nearly 90% of students we've reported say that they've actually faked progressive views in order to appease their liberal professors, just like you're talking about. And we see this leftist political bias across the higher education system. These speaker lineups they're just another example of universities claiming to love diversity of thought, but we know it's like they're only picking the same people over and over again, and they're always leftist.
Maybe we should have separate graduations for conservative students. I mean, if they're going to do it for black kids and gay kids, I mean, honestly, what the hell? But I guess you'd be outing yourself as a conservative, and that's bad. I mean, ridiculous.
I don't think conservative students want that. I think they just want normalcy. I think most students just want normalcy. Everything is hyper-politicized on our university campuses, and that's the problem that so many students on both the left and the right they're saying they're done with it. Everything from professors to class assignments, grad ceremonies, campus organizations, even friendships. Everything is about politics on a university campus, and I'm speaking to students, and they're saying they're tired of it. They're done.
Yeah, did you see that? And I watched the whole damn thing a couple of times. Eric Church at the University of North Carolina, when he talked about the 6 strings on the guitar, that was goosebump central. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a remarkable speech, and that's the sort of speech that young people need to hear right now. With our graduates, they don't need to be told how to vote. They need a message of inspiration. They need to feel celebrated at their graduation ceremony. But also, I would say, if I were one of those students, I would want to hear a speech about how to build a career, how to lead a team, how to start a business, something I can actually take to the real world in the workforce.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard as a student because you work so many years and spend so much money to get your education, and then you get to the finish line and some a-hole decides to hijack your ceremony, and you got to sit there and endure Jamie Raskin. Who the hell wants to see Jamie Raskin talk? I mean, what's Nancy Pelosi going to tell you? You know, you need to get into Congress so you can get inside information. You become filthy rich. You know, what is she going to tell you about success, for God's sake? It's so disgusting. But you know, you don't want to miss your graduation ceremony, do you?
No, and Nancy Pelosi might be able to share some stock tips. I think college students, college graduates would probably enjoy that. Let's talk about Fauci. What a slap in the face that is. I mean, this is the man who shut campuses down.
Yes.
These students didn't have high school graduation ceremonies because of his COVID policy.
Yeah.
They had online classes, mask mandates, vaccine mandates, no prom, no homecoming in high school, and now they get to listen to Dr. Anthony Fauci at their college commencement. It's an absolute slap in the face.
I've noticed a couple of commencement speakers, they bring up AI, and the students boo, and it's because AI is taking so many jobs, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, it is. And you know what? These students booing, I don't think universities should honestly be shocked by it at all, because these students were just, I mean, they were sold a 6-figure lie. They just spent years dishing out thousands of dollars on the university campus, sitting in these classes that teach them about DEI. They're not leaving campus with real-world skills that they can take to the workforce, and now they're dealing with the threat of AI taking over so much entry-level work. So I understand the frustrations with so many of these students.
I was talking about, I work in a building with an architect's firm. They have a studio and I use it. I was talking to the proprietor and I said, I've got a friend who has a custom cabinet making company, and now he's going to pay $1,000 a month, and the AI will create and build the kitchens for them so all of the measurements, everything is done in a minute. And I said, what's that going to do to architecture? He goes, Rob, it's going to kill us. Architecture.
Yeah. It's happening across industries, and that's why, I would encourage anyone in my generation to learn how to effectively use AI, because we got to face reality. We've got to face the noise. We know AI is overtaking so many industries. And something else, only 12% of Gen Z graduates are even finding jobs before finishing school. So, our schools need to get back to real-world academics. Our schools need to teach skills to make these students competitive in the workforce, but then also Gen Z, we've got to face the noise, and we've got to learn how to use AI to our advantage too.
100%. And also, you hear Mike Rowe talking about trades. There's a lot of, if you get a real satisfaction from the trades, you don't want to work in a cubicle the rest of your life. There is that too. There's a great deal of satisfaction and good money involved in that. Real quick, young Gen Zers are leading a growing surge to Catholicism. Young men in particular. Well, I suppose this is about structure. I would also assume that Gen Z is very wary of being sold shiny objects and televangelism and all that nonsense, and they want to return to tradition.
Absolutely. I have interviewed dozens of members of Generation Z about this, and they're looking for truth, they're looking for order in society, and they're rejecting leftist values. They don't care for the gender ideology or abortion or things like that are pushed on them by society. They're looking for traditional values. They're embracing marriage. They're going to church, and it's really remarkable to see.
I think so, too. I think it's very helpful. Any big plans for the Memorial Day weekend, Emily?
Oh, just enjoying life and enjoying life with my family. Thank you.
All right. Well, God bless you. I appreciate you very much. Real Emily Sturge on Twitter and, of course, Campus Reform as well. Thanks for joining me today, Emily, and have a good weekend, okay?
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.
You too.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Good. Got a lot out of that conversation. I did not expect to cover everything, but, in case you didn't know, I like to talk to people. And I think you got a lot more out of that segment than I thought I was going to get. So I hope you enjoyed it. I did. What do we make it here? Meatballs consist of meat, 1-pack, crushed saltines, Tony's, eggs, and kitchen bouquet. Yeah, I suppose. What I would suggest, rather than crackers, use a meat that has fat in it. I know you want to use it as a binder. You know what I would use instead? Listen to me. Cracker meal or breadcrumbs. Okay? Cracker meal or breadcrumbs. I know how to cook, so I'm just responding to Dookie Bear. Dookie Bear. If you're gonna do meatballs or meatloaf, couple of different meats, maybe pork, maybe beef. If you're gonna use beef, use 80-20. No leaner than that. No leaner than that, because otherwise it's gonna, you want a high-fat meat, and I would use breadcrumbs and egg as a binder, and then whatever you want to put in, onions, tomatoes, whatever. I don't like chunks of tomatoes, so I would use like a tomato sauce or tomato paste. Anyway, hello, deplorable dinosaur. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna be building this cooking brand, this food brand. And I'm working on it right now. I took up, has Jim Gossett done a parody of All the Losing Rhinos to Another One Bites the Dust? No, Sandra, but that's a great idea. We did a parody of Another One Bites the Dust about Iran and the Ayatollah. But it's a great idea. Thank you, Sandra, over on X. Time for me to talk.
350 here.
Dig it. I have been talking to the streamers, and so I really don't. It's kind of deciding when I wanted to talk here at the very end of the radio program. Linda McMahon, this is kind of interesting. She's the Secretary of Education, and the Education Department is going away. They've discovered all sorts of fraud in the student loan division, and you understand. This is exactly the same as all of the PPE loans and all this that Democrats gave to their friends and said you don't have to pay them back. That's why Joe Biden said to these people getting these student loans, you don't have to pay them back, because a lot of them weren't students.
I'm really proud of one of the things that we've done, and that is we've just really totally revamped the FAFSA program, which is the applications that students fill out, for student aid as they're going to college. But as like many things in the government, we found that there was a lot of fraud going on, that there were bots that were applying for these loans, there were ghost students, there were dead.
And Joe Biden wanted to forgive their loans. I wonder why that is. Maybe because there was some money coming back to the Democrat Party, do you suppose?
People who are getting these loans, et cetera. And so we really did enforce and tweak this entire system so that we have this real-time fraud identity now. And it's as simple as showing an ID, online to show who you are when you're applying for these loans. And last year we kept $1 billion of fraud money from going out. And just in the first 2 weeks of revamping this program this year, we've saved about $60 million. So it's very effective, and I'm very pleased that we are going to be able to.
Everything that our taxes went for has been pilfered by criminals. I heard Joni Ernst said $1 billion a day, what they estimate goes out the door in fraud. And, as I said, we needed a baptism by fire of this government. And we're in the throes of it right now. Exposing the fraud is part of it. Another one is booting these rhinos rear ends out of office. Thomas Massie, Bill Cassidy, someday soon John Thune, MTG's gone, all of this stuff. So it's a baptism by fire. And Donald Trump isn't the president of one party. He's the president of the people. And I know that you've been, you on the left have been told, he's Hitler, he's all this. There's a reason why they're trying to scare you away from him. But he's turning this city around that I live in, which is Washington, D.C. He's making it beautiful again. He's making drug prices affordable again. He's closed the southern border. He fixed that immediately. He's bringing peace to the Middle East. He's bringing manufacturing back to America, $18 trillion in manufacturing back to the United States. And all you need to do is turn away from the darkness. All you need to do is turn away from the darkness. Because, we don't have to live in darkness. We don't have to live in anger and sadness. We don't have to live in division on race and gender and all of this. We don't have to live in this darkness. We don't. And that's why I think we're coming together. 80% of us believe the country was headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us believe we can come together to fix her. Hillbillies, homeboys, and Hebrews come together to save America. Hispanics, homemakers, handgun owners. I can go on and on. The Bill of Goods the Democrat Party has taught you about the United States is bullcrap. We are the greatest country in the history of mankind. You should be proud to live here. Let's come together to save her, okay? God bless you, America's founder, Donald Trump. He's kicking butt and taking names. The soldiers fighting against Iran. And, of course, until tomorrow, which is Thursday, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.